Brilliance Audio presents
The Deal by Joe Hutsko. To the memory of my father, Stephen M. Hutsko. Part 1. Chapter 1. The deal was in motion. As he guided the BMW Z3 Roadster onto Highway 280, Matthew Locke felt as though his mind were spinning as quickly as the wheels that propelled him forward. Appraising his position, he quickly cut over to the fast lane. He briefly wondered why the traffic was so light, then shrugged it off. He had more important things to think about. Bright sunlight and warm air rushed through the open windows as he gained speed and set the cruise control at 70 miles per hour. Then Matthew noticed the clock and realized that for the first time in as long as he could remember, he was 2 hours ahead of the nightly 280 rush. His workday had ended sooner than usual. There was nothing more for him to do except wait for tomorrow to come. Still reeling from the confrontation, he took a few deep breaths and tried to relax. He wasn't recovering from the sort of unpleasant agitation brought on by fear. No, this was the sort of nervousness that comes from excitement. The useful, energetic kind. The kind that Locke so fondly remembered feeling more than 20 years ago, those nights before facing a final exam he knew he would ace. Admittedly, there was maybe the smallest tinge of anxiety mingled somewhere in all of that good nervous energy. While he was always ready for a good contest or debate, he had little tolerance for unreasonable opponents. Like Peter Jones. Matthew had tried one last time to compromise with the stubborn founder of Via Computer Incorporated. Unfortunately, the outcome had yielded exactly what he'd expected. Nothing. Matthew did not want things to end this way. Not exactly, anyway. But there was no alternative. It was ridiculous. The conflict that he just left had been more like a vicious counseling session between a distressed married couple instead of the calm, civil encounter you'd expect between the two most senior executives of one of the decade's most innovative companies. Thinking back on it, he'd hoped that casually dropping in on Jones unannounced, the way he used to, would make it possible for the two to simply talk out their differences, like reasonable men. But even as he'd set out on the short stroll between his building and Jones's, he began to have doubts. Halfway there, he stopped abruptly, right at the core of the Peter Jones legacy. He looked around and observed the sprawl of Spanish-style single-story buildings, each painted white and topped with a red tile roof. What Jones had started nearly a decade ago in his college dorm room had blossomed into the cluster of buildings spread all around Matthew, and even farther, to offices and factories throughout the world. And here he was, caught in the middle of it all.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?